Hello everyone, hope you're ready for a badass movie. Bryan and I are watching Fast 5, the extended cut. Make sure you got the extended cut. You gotta get that extra neck snap from The Rock. We're gonna start the movie after 3, 2, 1, go. Alright? Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Well, hello everyone. Welcome to Leslie and Bryan's Badass Movie Broadcast. Working title, we're still thinking about it. I am Leslie, Lee the Third from Struggle Session.
I am Bryan from Street Fight Radio. Bryan Quinby from Street Fight Radio and several other podcasts.
Hey, actually, no, I'm thinking about it. This is just a chill one. You know, this is like a chill thing we're doing. We're just hanging out. Let's just be Leslie and Bryan. No last names, no brand. Just two friends hanging out, watching movies together. And that's kind of the concept I wanted to do for this summer. Us get together, watch a couple of blockbuster action movies from our youth, from our childhood, from our days as young men, and see what was special about them, what was interesting about them, what was badass about them.
Sorry, Leslie. I didn't mean to cut you off there. This is like an exceptionally important movie to me. Like, it is crazy how important this movie is to me.
You know, this is the first Fast movie I watched was Fast 5, because I just never got into the series at first because I thought it was like cheesy and corny. I was like, oh man, it's not that cool. It's kind of corny. Vin Diesel's kind of gory. I've learned better since then, obviously. And Fast 5 was the one that kind of turned it around for me. It was my come to Jesus moment where I finally checked out the franchise and I was like, holy shit, sitting in the movie theaters like, damn, I didn't know they were doing all this.
They weren't, though, before Fast 5.
I know, right?
But like, I think I'd seen the Fast and the Furious, the first one, but didn't like kind of keep up with it. But this came out in a summer where I had just gotten injured at work, so I wasn't working for the whole summer. So I was like, I'm gonna go see every single summer movie this year. And this was the one that I saw where I was like, this fucking rules. This is my favorite movie now of all time.
They've already destroyed like a bus and it looked pretty legit. Like it felt like they blew up a bus. Now, you know, the newer ones, I feel like you very rarely feel like there's a real car on the road.
Yes.
But this one, I think, still had that old feeling to it.
This one does. Fast 5 does. They started to get away from it after this one. It went a lot heavier CGI to the point where I saw Fast 9 and it was kind of like, okay, guys, come on, let's crash some real cars. Okay, still a good movie. I still love it.
Oh, so how was Fast 9? Tell me about Fast 9.
I loved it. I thought it was really fun. I it was the first one my wife and kid ever saw. And they loved it. They were laughing through the whole thing. It's just an incredible. I mean, like, they just don't make fun movies like this very often. So, like, I think people don't even know how to watch these, if that makes sense. Because it's like, because like this movie, like, they're not telling a ton of jokes in the Fast and the Furious movies. There's like a few laugh lines when you get Ludacris and Tyrese in there and stuff like that.
We'll get into it later in The Rock's, toxic contributions to the series. But I digress. Yes, I think in this one and the earlier ones, which I did go back to, it's like people don't realize that movies just used to be like cool. Like it was supposed to be about like cool, like kind of badass guys, like doing cool kind of badass stuff. It wasn't the wink, the nod, the jokes a mile a minute where everybody's like cracking jokes and kind of laughing, winking at the camera. Like this movie takes its world pretty seriously. It's like they're on the street. They're literally really on the streets of Rio right now. And Vin Diesel had the funniest quote where he's like, a lot of people couldn't shoot, in these places where shoot, but the franchise just has so much street cred.
It does, though.
Yes,
it does. I mean, that's the funny thing, I guess, when you're like, I think these movies have become a little bit more like respected over the years.
Yeah.
But like there's a certain I think there's a lot of people in the circle that we're on online that I don't think they really even know like what regular ass people like
I know, right?
people who don't have podcasts, don't listen to podcasts, go to Facebook, maybe
Yes.
Instagram. Like them, they like they like the Fast and the Furious series, they like Deadpool. It's like they like the movies that people look down their nose at. But these fucking movies take themselves so seriously that like that's a way of being funny too.
Yes. Yeah, we talked about this with the Snyder cut as well. Jack always like to point out that just because the movie takes it so doesn't mean you, the audience, have to take it seriously. There's a humor and a lightheartedness in it, and like especially comparing this one to, I just watched Fate of the Furious, and I absolutely hate it because it does live in the comic booky world where everything is a joke. They're improv lines back and forth. Like this movie starts out, they're just like hanging out and like, we're poor, we got to do something about this stuff, like they're not they all seem kind of miserable and hot and like not having that great a time until the adventure starts.
Yeah, no. I mean that's the way it should be. And like these guys, I mean it's wild because like this movie, these guys are outlaws, which I think is why Fast Five is my favorite action movie, is because it's a movie about outlaws fucking running from the government. You know, they're not out there trying to help. They're not out there like trying to help the world. They're out there trying to get money so that they can get away from the government in a way that they won't be able to come and find them.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the Fast series as a whole, because it's such an interesting. It might be one of the more interesting film series that exists. Because first of all, there's 10 of them, and they're still taking them seriously, more or less, as movies, right? Like you just don't get that without a reboot or something of the sort. Like I don't think there's anything else that didn't move into self-parody. I mean, maybe some people might claim that some of the Fast movies are self-parody, but like you're not getting to Jason Takes Manhattan territory with Fast.
No. I mean the new one does have some stuff in it where it's like, hey, this movie's winking a little bit at what people say about the movies, but I think that shows like a sense of good humor, where it's like, there's stuff in the new one that are a little bit more. There's stuff in the new one that is a little bit goofy, but I think they're doing that because people make fun of the movies for being too big.
Oh.
Like I think that's what's really good about this too, is that like, yeah, it kind of starts out like a little mopey, but it picks up really fucking fast, this movie. And then by the end you're like, I don't remember when this movie wasn't going crazy.
Yeah. Well, I like the Torettos. I like you gotta love Bryan, you gotta love Mia. I believe in this relationship that started in it did start in Fast 1, right? Where Bryan starts off as a cop, an undercover cop who's trying to bust this ring of criminals who are stealing these high value cars, and he's infiltrating Vin Diesel's crew and his sister Mia, and he's like, the whole movie is kind of like a mystery where he's trying to figure out like who is doing the crimes, and it turns out it's fucking Vin Diesel doing all the crimes, but they've already bonded so much by the end they lets him go. And so it sets up this kind of franchise where you have, this cop character who's kind of trying to break bad, if you will, with this outlaw guy, and they have this chemistry and this charisma together that like the plot doesn't matter. We just want to see them hanging out. And by the time we get to Fast 5, it's like Bryan is just straight up like a master criminal now instead of a cop at all.
Yeah, I also like about these movies that like there isn't source material, which I think like is such a rare thing in
Oh
these
yeah.
franchises where like it's hard to tell where they're going to go anyway or where they had planned to go. There's no source material. This is maybe one of the last franchises that wasn't. I mean, they're always trying to build new ones like Army of the Dead or like they're always trying to build some new thing, but like this is really one of the only successful ones that I can think of.
Yeah, and it almost like it died more or less. Like this was part of maybe the second revival because it almost did go into the B movie territory with Tokyo Drift because that was kind of almost like a half, right? Like it's not even counted in the numbers as a Fast and Furious movie because it didn't have a lot of the main stars except for aside from a cameo. There was an issue with Vin Diesel didn't come back for one or two of them, and they just weren't really sure about where the franchise was going to go until we get to this one, where it's just like they've got it together. We got a family, we got a crew, and now we're gonna do fucking super crimes.
Yeah, yeah, and like I don't know, like Vin Diesel is the type of guy that like he looks like the type of guy that he's playing. He is just perfect for this role.
Yes. Too. Like I mean, what can you say about, Dominic Toretto? He's just one of the best action heroes of all time. And the funny thing is like until the recent movie, he didn't spend a lot of time saving the world. That's what set him apart. Like most of the time he just spent like stealing shit. He's actually the villain of the first movie. Like you're meant to think that like the movie tries to trick you into think that, oh no, the Torettos, they're like good and stuff. They're like, they wouldn't steal these cars, even though the whole time we know that they do it. And like you get sucked into him in his world, but he's not like saving the world. He's not a guy trying to do the right thing. He's just that guy trying to live and take care of his family. He doesn't really care about anything else. And I really like that. I think it changed. I mean, Fate of the Furious is just straight up saving the world by that point.
Yeah.
I don't know if F9 is, but I like the outlaw shit. I like that there's just stealing stuff.
I do too. I really wish they would have stuck with the kind of outlaw stuff, but I just think that like, I think at some point you have to be like, well, I think it's hard to keep these guys bad guys is what the real issue ends up being. Like, I don't know how you could have kept them outlaws or, maybe somebody had a crisis of conscience or something like that where they're like, well, they can't do heists and still be good guys. But it's like, yeah, you could.
Yeah, of course you could.
People hate the law.
Yeah, people hate rich people. They should just it should just have turned into like Ocean's 11 then. Like, okay, increasingly bigger heists on richer assholes. They did do the, like they had the next one, right, is kind of the revenge flick. No, it's not the next one. It's the one after that, I think, right? 5, 6, 7 is kind of a revenge flick with the Jason Statham action. That's fine. Like it's just a kind of a back and forth action movie. You can split up the heisting with one of those where it's one is just like someone from our past is trying to get us and we have to fight for our lives. But every other one at least should be about pulling off a job.
Right. And there's also there's no real lines anyway between good guy and bad guy because like it just really like everybody that you like every actor, like John Cena's in the new one, that in the Fast 10, John Cena is going to be a good guy.
Yes. Oh, sweet as kill right there. This is one where they start kind of killing people off though. In the first few, like death is very serious. It's not so casual.
Is this one R-rated still? I don't remember.
I would have to imagine so. Well, we are watching the extended edition, so it should be unrated.
I gotta check that. It might be PG-13 because they don't show blood. Yeah, I mean, the kills are great. They do kill, at least. They're not like, duty bound not to kill anybody.
Yeah. But we see already the kind of escalation. This is the second truck that's been driven into another vehicle so far in the movie. That was the climax of the second movie when they drive the fucking car onto the boat. I remember watching that the first time I watched it. I was like, oh, that's kind of weak after seeing Fast Five. But then you watch some modern movies. It's like, no, they actually drove a car onto the boat. That's fucking cool as shit. That's actually an excellent ending to a movie. Like we shouldn't expect more than that.
Yeah, it's PG-13, but it is, I think, a good PG-13 action movie. I think an action movie that you ask if it's PG-13 or R is a good PG-13 action movie.
That's a great definition of it. You know, it was funny. I was actually watching Indiana Jones the other day, which is the first PG-13 movie. That movie is so fucking violent. It's incredibly violent. It would be a hard R now. It might not even get an R now.
It's so funny. I mean, PG-13 just means they don't show blood. Is all it really means, or nudity.
Yeah, and well, you can get some nudity if it's non-sexual.
Right.
You can get and you have a limited amount of swear words that you can use. You get one fuck, I think. Yeah, you get one fuck. No.
Yeah, I think there was recently a movie where they used the one fuck, and everybody's like, "Oh my god, they used the fuck." It's like, okay, calm down a little. Oh my
Good
god.
Good stuff so far. Intense. I love it. I love it.
I mean, this movie's been on for 11 minutes, and there's been 2 action sequences already.
Oh my god, and so tense. Oh, I just loved so much of the movies are about, bros saving each other, bros having each other's back. Look at that. I got you. Oh, I remember when I saw this in the trailer. It's like, oh, I gotta go to theaters and see this shit. Oh,
yeah, I loved it. I loved the mechanic.
My God.
The mechanic of jumping from vehicle to vehicle is one of the best things about this series. That they have just decided, like, hey, they jump from vehicle to vehicle. Yes. It's possible if you just look at the way they do it in a movie.
There's a Vin Diesel video game that's pretty good. I think it's PS2 era, where it's not a fast game, but it's like a game where you carjack stuff by jumping from car to car, and it's really one of the most fun things in a video game to jump from car to car, but with like a diving kick, and then disarm the guy and start driving the other car.
They could make a really good video game out of the Fast series, but I know. Oh, this was a pivotal scene for me.
I like the cops die too in the series.
Yeah.
Now in over their heads now.
Right. Hanging by chains, actually, in a room. I don't know how they're going to get out of this. This is just one of the greatest scenes ever.
And he's cool, not scared
at
all.
He don't care. It's like, what are you going to do to me, dude? Oh, don't say that.
Oh, he fucked up then. He fucked up. Oh, he double fucked up. He don't even know. He don't even know about Paul Walker over there. He don't even know.
He also looks like a game show host. Like the bad guy in this looks straight up like a game show host or like a telenovela star. This is
telenovela, yes.
This is so incredible. The way that they escape here is what made me fall in love with this series. That was the second I fell in love with it.
Oh,
he breaks the handcuffs with his strength.
Oh my God, they were just waiting for their moment.
I mean, the incredible amount of strength that Dominic Toretto has is just, I mean, I can't think of a better thing for these movies that it feels like a wrestling character that gets creative control to me.
And I love it. Like she's on the hot run, even though she's pregnant. They're fucking like there's consequences. Like they're international fugitives now, and like oh shit, they're fucked now. He's a former rogue cop. You got a murderer who's been busted out of jail. These are the most wanted fugitives in the world now. That's so cool. Unflappable.
Everything comes down to a car too. That's so fucking important. Yeah.
I feel like
here we go.
I feel like aside from Fast, American movies have fallen out of love with cars and car chases. You don't see them as much anymore.
I mean, and when you do, there was that car chase in Black Panther that I think people liked, but I didn't.
That wasn't a car chase. That wasn't a car chase.
Yeah. But it is one that I've heard people be like, oh, that car chase and that was great. But I just don't think the Marvel movies don't do any of the work of being an action thing well at all.
Yeah. All right, we got the
not
Rock
to say
here.
That he's here.
It's amazing that I will watch this movie and I was like, wow, The Rock is huge and he's bigger now. I actually look at it now and it's like, well, he's kind of small.
Yeah, because that's when a wrestler gets hired, when a wrestler gets hired, when he quits wrestling to be an actor, the wrestler always gets smaller, goes for that like kind of smaller frame. Like John Cena is not huge anymore. He's like kind of he's thinned out quite a bit. And it's like, no, I mean, people like you because you're huge.
Yes. Yeah, The Rock thinned up at first a lot. And then he just got bigger and bigger and bigger. It's like, that's where the money is, dude. Who do you think's the best pro wrestler turned
movie?
Yeah, actor.
It's so hacky to say, but it is The Rock. I mean, he's given me the most. I think I like The Rock more outside of wrestling than I did inside of wrestling. Really? I mean, I think maybe this is I think the reason what I have to say about this is that like I think this is a hindsight thing because The Rock promos were really great at the time, but not so good now. And this is
strange. They really aged badly. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not me saying like, oh, they're problematic. It's like, whatever. I'm not going to get mad at some guy for saying stuff that was normal back in his time, but they're just corny. They're like it's not that fun, but he has been in so many movies that I love so much, including these movies. I gotta look at his filmography because I think I like a lot of what he does. Like The Rock is a guaranteed I'll go see it. I also think Dave Bautista's pretty good, but I don't think he's done enough yet.
Yeah, Dave hasn't done enough. He hasn't gotten the roles that really show him off. I think The Rock has gotten a couple iconic roles, including this one as Hobbs, but Bautista just doesn't have that. Like everybody praises his performance in Blade Runner 2049, but can anybody name like the character? Tell me the name of that character. And he is great at it, but it is just that small thing at the beginning.
Right. I also think that like I gotta say that John Cena is showing a ton of promise too.
Yeah, I can see that. He's really good in
these
that
guys
Amy Schumer
learn.
movie. That Amy Schumer movie is really great.
Right, he's good in that. The Suicide Squad actually looks good to me. I don't know what your opinion's been on that.
I am not
but
excited, but yeah.
Oh, really? I think it looks great. I think it sounds, if they do what they say they're going to do, I think that movie's going to kick ass. Really. But I mean, I can't trust that a guy like James Gunn has it in him to make a really cool, like, war movie, you know, because that's what it's supposed to be, is a war movie, which I'm interested in, like a ragtag group of people out doing like war type stuff. So
Yeah.
that I'm into. Okay, The Rock's filmography isn't nearly as impressive, but I did like Central Intelligence. Those movies are good with Kevin Hart. And you know, I can't say Baywatch was bad. It just,
I mean, it's,
you know, wasn't special. There we go.
I think, I know obviously The Rock probably has the edge because he's had the most starring role opportunities, but you look at something like Kevin Nash filmography, and he's got some strong stuff there. He's pretty good in everything he's in. Been a pretty interesting actor, and he's someone who I think if he was a bit younger, maybe not quite 7 feet tall, he could do a bit more in Hollywood.
Hasn't been given much either. Like, really, yeah. I mean, he's great in those Magic Mike movies. I think he's really fucking good in those. But, and John Wick, he's only in it for like a second. But if somebody really gives him an opportunity, also, I don't know if you've seen this, but he's really good in Detroiters too. If you've never
really, I can see. That. Oh yeah, he's a very funny guy. I remember the TNA paparazzi production vignettes are so funny, still funny. They're actually funny now without being problematic. Actually, they hold up better than The Rock's promos.
Yeah. I mean, The Rock's promos are again, they're very problematic, but I would also say that, like, if you are okay with problematic stuff, which, I've been listening to ICP for the past 2 weeks. I'm not a guy that, like, shrinks away from it. I would say that even if you're okay with that stuff, if you went back and listened to The Rock's promos from back when he was on fire, you would be like, this is not very good.
Yeah.
And he wasn't a very good wrestler either. I mean, he's okay.
He's okay.
I can't think of a big match he ever had that I was like, oh, that was great. Him versus Austin, I think, was very good, but I can't think of a lot of other good stuff. So,
how do you think Vin Diesel would do as a wrestler?
Too short, probably, but I mean, I don't think that really matters in
anymore.
The current time.
Yeah, in current
he
time,
was supposed to be. He was supposed to have a match he was working up to at one point. They were going to do a match, I believe, Vin Diesel versus The Rock with somebody. I'll try to find that.
I would be shocked if there wasn't at least a rumor that Vin Diesel was going to do a match with The Rock. I feel like he would actually succeed because he is like a D&D guy. He loves building these characters up. I feel like he would have a very defined professional wrestling character, a reason for what he's doing, a backstory, and he would have very, very good promos, I think.
Yeah, I think him and The Rock. I think that Vin Diesel is very good at being Dom Toretto. Like, Vin Diesel is a great actor. People make fun of him, and I firmly believe they make fun of him because his name's Vin Diesel. Like, I don't think that... I mean, Triple X is kind of a funny movie, but I would sit and fucking watch Triple X to this day.
I know,
and
right?
Enjoy it.
It's fucking dope.
Yeah. I don't know what the big issue is with Vin Diesel other than he does do a lot of stuff that would be considered low culture, but you are listening to a podcast with two guys that just relish in low culture. So but he was also in a Sidney Lumet movie.
Yeah, and he can act. Vin Diesel can act. I know he hasn't done a lot of it lately, but he can act. He's done some good shit before, especially earlier in his career. He can act. It's just that the characters he's most drawn to are just guys who whisper and are very intense.
But
he can do other
intense. Shit. Yeah, have you seen Find Me Guilty?
Yes, I have.
Oh, I love that movie.
Yeah,
that movie was so fucking good.
Boiler Room.
Shit.
He was tight and so good in Boiler Room. Very different character.
See, I like this movie too because it starts out they're at war with Reyes, this like drug guy, right? Like it's like they're gonna easily defeat Reyes. There's no problem with him. But now you're like dealing with The Rock, and it's like, how the fuck are they gonna get around him?
And his like special forces cops.
Yeah, he's a bad guy because he has all the advantages too.
Yeah. I like how they're just chilling, like, and then these fucking asshole cops come in and they gotta deal with that shit. Very clear. Uh-oh.
It's everybody. It's Reyes and The Rock. It's like the walls are closing in. Oh, there was some blood.
Yeah.
That must have been extended cut stuff.
Yeah, it's only an extra minute. But it counts. Only the best. Oh.
That was it. That was another scene. Leslie, that was another one of the scenes where he jumps through a brick fucking wall.
Yeah.
It was just like unbelievable, man.
I know.
And you can't help but fucking smile when that happens.
And I know we've seen it a lot since then, but you didn't see that before. That's like one of the first times, one of the first ones, at least in American action cinema, you're going to see. Oh, this is before everyone was doing fucking parkour. And look, The Rock coming out.
And this is when you find out that Dom is like just as strong, if not stronger than The Rock, and that The Rock is superhuman strong.
Yeah,
like you don't know that Dom.
Oh,
yeah,
that was a nice mix up right there from Paul with the throw into the wall.
Superman punch.
Yeah.
But you just didn't know that Dom is a superhero. Like, he's got super strength.
Yeah.
Which is cool. Oh. He doesn't run around saying it.
Oh. That might have been that might be some extra shit. Oh, yep. Neck snap.
No, I think those are in the movie. Because I remember thinking The Rock is pretty badass here.
That is some brutal stuff. I like how each of them has different ways of fighting.
Yes, they did a really good job at that too.
Very important in any action movie. Rock has his own style of fighting.
Yeah, they don't do that in the Marvels at all.
Yeah.
At all. Oh. I mean, nobody fights in those movies.
Not really, though. This scene is so good. Oh, it's so good and so different than the other scene.
And then he gets all seductive on her.
You see, he might be an outlaw, but he does believe in some kind. He does have a code.
Yeah.
Oh. The only time you can cheer fucking special forces where they're fighting the cartels who are trying to kill our family. This scene is just so fucking
you don't
tight.
know what to do.
Oh my god.
Paul Walker did do that parkour movie Brick Mansions.
Oh, I haven't seen that one. Man, Paul Walker was
pretty good.
Man, Paul Walker, R.I.P. my man. Down ass white boy. Running
Scared was great.
Yes.
Legendary movie.
And Too Fast, Too Furious is good. It's good. It's different, but it's good. Forget about it, cuh. That is the best line that any white man has ever delivered in film. Forget about it, cuh.
You do get to see, oh wait, no, that's Tokyo Drift. You do get to see Bow Wow in the new movie.
Oh, cool.
And that the guy, the Southern guy from Tokyo Drift. I was very happy to see them. Oh, good. Yeah, the crucifix necklace is pivotal through all of these movies.
Yes,
Really.
thematically, metaphysically, it's the key.
I know when we left the new one, my daughter was like, "Are they all like this Christian?" And I was like, "I mean, there's Christianity, like they pray before meals and stuff like that, but I mean, it's not a Christian movie. Who
No,
cares if it
no.
was? It rules." Oh,
Damn.
well, that adds a layer.
How can you not love
I
this
mean, it
motherfucking
is
movie?
funny.
How can you not love it? It has heart. It has a heart.
It does. It does. And you know, it is funny because like, you know, growing up when I was, you know, when I was living still in Groveport out there and stuff like that, people did love Paul Walker. But then when I moved into the city and I started to, you know, get a little more fancy and stuff, it was like people were just like, Paul Walker sucks. And it's like, I'm so glad that I came around on him before he died, because it was just like he did rule, and he is a real, I hate to like ascribe these sorts of things, but he is a working class hero type guy.
Yes.
You know, because like it's the same thing I was saying earlier about like Deadpool and like Dom and the family here. Is like these are like working class heroes. This is like aspirational for working class people.
Yeah, somebody. So I opened up questions and comments for the listeners of the show, and one person pointed out that, you know, the cool thing about Fast and Furious is that it's like a James Bond for us, for normal people. You know, they're not the smoothest, hippest British European people. Like, no, they're like down and dirty, working class, stiffs, poor people, broke people, black people, Hispanic people, Asian people, everybody all together, working to take down fucking super cops like The Rock and shit.
Right. I mean, these movies, and you know, now there is a lot said about representation, but I will say that in 2009 they could have made this movie with all white people and nobody would have said anything.
Yeah.
You know, and that like it is very interesting that this series was diverse before there was a huge push for diversity.
Oh yeah.
In Hollywood, I think like they're doing it for the right reasons.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Yeah, from the very start of the film, very diverse casting. Even like the little side characters, you know, they're not all just like white, you know, comedy actors. They have a very good mix of all, you know, and very good gender mix as well in general. Like I really like this. And another comment we got was that, you know, every time a Fast movie comes out, the articles are usually about, isn't it weird that so many people like this odd franchise? I'm like, no, this is a franchise that looks like them, of people that look like and talk like them from their neighborhoods, going out and doing shit that they actually would want to do. They're not just a bunch of super cops who live in like outer space or whatever the fuck, you know what I'm saying? They're like regular folk doing the kind of cool shit that you want to do. You want to drive fast cars with your buddies or rob the fucking rich asshole who runs your town. You want to do cool shit like this.
Right. And I also think it's funny because it's like these movies, I would have to say that these movies are the least odd of like the
Yes.
blockbuster movies that get made now. They make perfect sense why people would like them. Some of the other stuff I don't get. You know, some of the other really big blockbuster action stuff like really offers nothing to me at least. Like the fight choreography is bad in a lot of them. The action scenes are all CGI, so it's like watching a cartoon. They're winking at me constantly, like, oh, isn't it silly that we're doing this? And these movies don't do any of that, and I like that. It's something me and you have talked a lot about pro wrestling. Is like, I don't want you to stand there and wink at me and say, hey, isn't it cool how fake this is?
Yeah.
I want you to fucking say it's real and pretend like it's real.
I mean, that's one of the things I love about Vin Diesel, because he believes in the character of Vin Diesel so much. With each movie, even with his social media posts, he's always very hands-on with managing this image in a way that's so different than The Rock, where I know I will never know who the real Rock is, but I feel like Vin is building this character, but he's actually becoming this character, while The Rock is just trying to give me what he thinks I want.
Yeah, I also think The Rock is way more obsessed. I think he's way more obsessed with like appealing to everybody, or whatever. And I think Vin Diesel is he's a little bit more like me in that, like, he's like, I just want to like appeal to cool people that like the people that are into me. I want to super appeal to them.
Yeah, like the Chronicles of Riddick multi-decade passion project, where he's just spent so much time on this little sci-fi thing that I actually think is wonderful. I actually think the Riddick series is amazing. The movies, the video games, the anime, but it's so him, where it's just like this odd, esoteric sort of like Dune mixed with Alien, mixed with all these sorts of other shit, like dark sci-fi horror journey. And I absolutely love the Riddick series, but like The Rock would never spend his time on a Riddick series. He would never be like, I'm gonna try to like put my own money up. I'm gonna do another movie for a studio if they let me make a Riddick movie. Like, he doesn't seem that passionate about, I guess, Black Adam maybe, but it feels like
Yeah, I love these two guys. I gotta say, Ludacris and Tyrese are, I mean, it's perfect humor to me. It's like all the guys I hung out with in high school. Basically, they just make fun of each other's clothes and stuff all the time. Oh,
here we go. We got Gal. I liked when they killed her off too.
Yeah, it's cool.
That was a cool death.
And I felt so bad for Han though.
And
that was my issue there.
You had to feel for Han.
Another thing that we didn't talk about when we were talking about the whole series was that, like, they worked really hard to make those movies that didn't necessarily fit in the story, like Tokyo Drift and Too Fast, Too Furious. They worked super hard to go back, and I've never seen this happen before, but they turned Tokyo Drift into a better movie decades later.
Yeah, after the fact, they made it matter more.
Yeah. I've never seen anything like it. Like, you go back and watch Tokyo Drift now and you're like, oh, this movie's fucking great, man. It's all this stuff. But it's because of the context now.
Yeah, I don't know. Very rare that a movie that the sequels can make the prior movies better, but they did it, and they didn't.
I mean, I
just
because
they weren't ashamed of it. They weren't ashamed of the B movie. They just kept rolling with it.
Exactly. Like, think about for a good example here. Think about the Incredible Hulk movie, the one with Ed Norton. And like, that is not part of a 17-year story or whatever that they call that thing. You know, like, that's not a part of the story at all. None of that stuff made any difference in the world, and we've never referred back to it again.
I like Therese. And I like Luda. And I like that they're two different kinds of black guys. I feel like every other movie series, it would just be two similar black guys. But no, they actually have different personalities, different desires. And it's like they're like an odd
coward.
Yeah. Nerd and coward, yes. They're like the Xander split in half. It's like you always have like a nerd coward, but they're like they split them into two.
Yeah, but that's like a really smart thing too, because like, you know, especially back at this time, if you did have a black character in a movie, they were like a gangster type guy. You know what I mean? Like, that's just the way it was. It was like, oh, he's a badass gangster type guy. Like, these two guys are dorks.
Yes.
Like, both of them are like seriously not cool guys. They're likable and you like them and you like to see them, but they're totally not cool.
Like, Vince is the thug. Dom, like Bryan is like the cool one. Dom.
Yeah.
Finally, black actors don't have to carry the cool in a film.
Exactly. I mean, they are cool and funny and they have like funny lines. I just mean, like, they're not meant to be the coolest guys in the room.
Yes.
You know?
Look at that. Shit. Just straight up robbing drug dealers in the movie. This is what the middle of the movie is. They're not trying to fucking find the cure to the virus. They're just fucking people up. I like it. Outlaw. Shit.
Genius plan they got too. I mean, they could have given it to people, I know, right? I guess, but whatever.
You know, it was a moment. It was a thing. Joker did. Dom had to do it.
Yeah, life is about moments. And, you know, no amount of money can buy the burning millions of dollars feeling. Oh, and these guys are like one step behind.
Yes.
Which is also very funny. Like, they're now doing what our team was doing, like, you know, 45 minutes ago.
Now, watching this, what's weird, do all these guys die before the end of the movie? Because, like, this feels like it could have been, like, if you want to spin off, if you want to do a cops version of Fast and Furious, just have these guys do something. Like,
I really think that the reason these people all end up going away is because the plan was always, hey, you know, at some point The Rock is going to be on the right team, you know?
Yeah.
Like, we want to see, I think this is the formula now. We want to see Dom Toretto or The Rock, one of the two, fight whoever the new big guy is. So, like, Jason Statham comes in. There's a long scene where The Rock fights Jason Statham. And then there's also a scene where Vin Diesel fights Jason Statham. And we got that. Now, Jason Statham is on their team because we got to see that. And I firmly think that they brought John Cena into the series so that we could see John Cena and The Rock fight in a movie. Which I'm very excited about too. I'm amped about that. I mean, those guys can have a good match.
I don't know. I'm trying to think. I don't know if I ever saw them wrestle. I don't think I ever watched any of their matches.
Oh, you never watched because they did like 3 WrestleMania main events, I believe, during, I think one of them was like during the Punk run when Punk was the champion, but he didn't get to wrestle in the main
Oh
event
yeah, I
because The
remember
Rock
that.
and Cena were.
Yeah, I remember that. I didn't watch it actually. I remember it. Yeah.
It's probably not good. I
Yeah,
mean,
and I feel like people don't talk about those matches. People talk about Hogan, still talk about Hogan and Rock. You still talk
that
about
was
Rock and Stone Cold. I've never hear anybody talk about Rock versus Cena.
Hogan Rock was really good. So, oh no.
Sometimes you always gotta show you gotta show the villain get his hands dirty. Can't just be a
Yeah,
villain.
because you want him to be tough, even though that he doesn't. But you don't want him to look too tough. You're like, I want to see this guy kill somebody to explain why everybody's so afraid of him.
Yeah.
But I also want to be kind of a pussy. I believe the guy that plays Reyes in this movie is like a bad guy in like a million movies.
Yeah, he does really. Joaquin de Almeida. Let me see. I think he's the bad guy in Desperado. Maybe
Yeah, I'm trying to find his name.
Clear Present Danger. Maybe I think he might be the bad guy. I haven't seen that movie in a while.
Ah, there he is. Okay. Clear and Present Danger. Yes. Desperado. Behind Enemy Lines.
He's in 24 too. I think maybe he's a villain in 24 as well.
Oh, he was also in The Hitman's Bodyguard, and the sequel to that's coming out like next week, I think.
I didn't watch that movie. That movie, some movies are just too cute for me to ever watch unless, I guess maybe if it's on like cable, I'll watch it sometime, but I just can't. It feels like a meme movie. It feels like that King and Kill movie, Keanu as well. It's like, you gotta at least like pretend like you're making a movie for me to like put it on.
I watched it. I believe I watched it when it showed up on HBO Go at the time, and I'll probably see the new one, but I don't even remember the first one at all. I think another underrated thing about this movie, by the way, is that they are about to spend, I don't know, a half hour to 45 minutes of this movie planning a heist that they don't even do.
Yeah. Oh, it's always a good plan because seeing the planning of the heist is always fun. But then you don't. But then when you see it planned, something has to go wrong. Otherwise, it's boring.
You're like, dude, I already saw you plan it. I know what it would look like if it went well. Why don't we?
Yeah. That T-shirt with the title belt is sick. That T-shirt with the
I know.
That's so good. That's such a good shirt.
I'm trying to read the title belt to find out which. I'm such a dork that I'm trying to find out which title it is.
See, I just watched Fate of the Furious, and the techno babble took longer and looked a lot less cool. Like that actually had some good graphics up there. That actually looked kind of interesting. The scene moved at a brisk pace. Then the fucking Fate, it was so boring. And nothing even that screen, like all the screens on this look good. They hold up. All right, that's cool. Screens are one of the hardest things to get in a movie and have them hold up for a while. I think that it's it's still very web point, 1.0, but it's a government agency, so they would have like outdated aesthetics.
Yeah. And you can't just show windows on the screen. It's just such because I always was like, why does it have to look like this? And then it's like, well.
I like the subtitles. Does it like do they still do these kind of subtitles? It used to be really big around this time to have the moving
Yeah,
subtitles.
I think they do, but I think I can't remember if the newest one had any Spanish in it. It might have had just a little bit,
Yeah.
but I do like the subtitles are like stylized.
What did you think of
I
Tenet?
can't even
Is this yeah,
me.
this seems very Tenet looking.
I don't know what I thought of Tenet. I kind of watched it and I didn't really get it, so I was like, I don't know. You know, Tenet was a movie that I walked away from thinking like maybe I'm just stupid and just kind of gave up on it, you know? But I thought some of the stuff looked cool.
Yeah, some of the stuff looked cool, but I was not a fan of the movie. I thought it was quite silly and unengaging.
Yes.
And like these are
I
very similar movies actually, but I think Fast Five clearly superior in a number of ways.
Oh God, yes. By a lot. You understand this movie every minute. During Tenet, it's like, what are we doing here? I don't understand what we're doing here.
Oh. No one interjects to say, actually, police aren't that bad. I was a
No.
cop. I tried to be. No, he keeps his mouth shut. He's a good ally. Bryan keeps his mouth shut there. I love Tyrese's character. They always get him in some fun stuff.
Also funny they're in Brazil and he's American
Yes.
for some reason. Oh, well.
I like that they have customer service interactions. This is something that viewers of these films have dealt with. They've been on the other side of that cage. Oh, see, he was hustling him the whole time.
He was.
See, that's smarter than anything in Tenet.
True. True. Yeah. Radio controlled car.
You love that. I guess we have none of them are drones now, but a lot of heist movies have this thing. I mean, it makes sense. RC car, you can put a camera on it, you can control it from a distance. Like this is a real heist ass movie.
Yeah.
I like they're trying to one up each other on how smart they are, how good they are at their
Yeah.
job, the crook job. And like, look, I had a life before you knew me. He didn't go into the backstory. We don't get the flashback. We didn't need the prequel movie. Just I had a life before I knew you. I know
No, we
this.
didn't need anything. Yeah.
I'm gonna grab something to drink.
Oh, what a good design flaw.
I like these guys. These guys are really funny too. Like everybody has a little job. Everybody has a little quirky personality.
Yeah. I wish they could get them all back together again. Now they just kind of put a couple. There's like different crews for different
Yeah.
movies. A good toilet joke always rules. Like somebody going into a stall where you're like, that's going to cause problems for him.
This is the fun. What they call the fun and games section of the script, where everybody's just kind of running
Yeah.
around goofing off. Oh my god!
They did a good job making that water look like there's shit.
Yeah,
in
they
it,
did
for
really
real.
did. It looked almost too good. I like that the movie is about pulling one over on the cops.
Yeah, the whole movie is really pulling one over on a shitty cop and a shitty drug dealer that is evil.
That's too good, actually. The set designer did too much, I think.
A nice silent saw too. I love it. I love it.
Anytime you're seeing walls being breached, like you're seeing some good crime shit. Like you want to see someone breaking into the building, getting in places where people don't think about going. Because this is your fantasy. It's
Yeah.
like, you know what? You always think like, wait a minute, when I'm walking around town, like, where would be some money hidden? Where is there a heist I can pull somewhere off around here? And they have to think. They have to think about this, the card that they're going to use.
We're gonna have to drift. We're gonna have to Tokyo drift to get in here.
We're going to have to cut it at a 30-degree angle. And then the hairpin.
Oh, I love how they get the cars too. It's like you have to have the Fast and the Furious party
Yes,
scene.
you have to. This is culture. They're preserving this culture from 2001 in amber to this day, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, there is one of these scenes in every one of these movies.
It has to be there. It's like the National Archives. Like they have to have it. They have to have the music. They have to have the asses. They have to have the cars. Every time.
I'm gonna go around Columbus looking for wherever this happens.
If you're lucky, that this does happen in your town. If you're lucky, but it's all like teenagers who will like beat you up and rob you. Probably if they have a chance.
Brett used to street race, but I don't think it was like quite this elaborate. Oh, here we go.
I like how self-satisfied they are. I love
Dominic Toretto, world famous illegal.
I know it's such a beautiful world to imagine that this is a thing. Like the world, people. It's just like with Roadhouse, where like there's an elite world, of bouncers that everybody knows the best bouncer. Oh, you hear this guy's in Jacksonville? Oh man, he's one of the best coolers there is. Same thing for street racing.
Yeah.
In this, they didn't even bother to show the race in this one.
No, why would you?
Of course,
they're about to show this.
I mean, this just looks sweet. This does look cool. That was tight. This is such a great concept, like setting up the course in their garage to drive it before the heist. That's just beautiful. Ooh.
Han is in love. Yeah, he said it. He's like, she can drive real good.
You like the detail, you like the training, you like every single precise thing, and then they have to change it all up. Did you ever play the Need for Speed series?
Yeah, I played one of them. Yeah, Hot Pursuit.
Oh, Hot Pursuit
is the one I played. One.
I was a big fan back in the Underground 2. It was kind of cool when street racing became like mainstream culture, like fake mainstream culture, like it was skateboarding for a little bit, and then I don't think there was anything for a while, and then it was like street racing around 2000, 2001. Legal street racing was everywhere, everything that you saw.
I love any time something illegal like takes the world by storm. And like you said, it's fake culture, like from TV or like it's a local news thing. But anything illegal is just incredible to me when people get way into it. I feel like that's kind of died a little bit over the past. I mean, drugs. It's all drugs now. It's all just like, yeah, drugs are cool. And it's like, yeah, but like everybody thinks drugs are cool now.
It's funny they even have time for a little romance. It's a new romance. They juggle all the characters very well.
Yeah, they do. I mean, that's probably how, I was saying a few minutes ago, it's like, I wish they could bring them all into the same movie again. But, you're probably right that it is smart to keep some people out of some movies, and then you can build those characters so that, like, as it goes on, you get a lot more out of the people that you have. Yeah. If they make this fucking Fast and the Furious Jurassic World mashup, I'm kind of excited for that. I just wish I just don't know if Chris Pratt is cool enough to be involved in the Fast universe.
He's absolutely not. They're not going to do it. I don't think they can think of a way to do it that would make sense.
After seeing the last Fast and the Furious at Fast 9, I think they might have to.
Wait, really? Does it get that big?
Yeah, it goes so big that I truly don't know where you can go from here.
that
time travel. Maybe time travel.
It does kind of disappoint me because I really do think it could have just been like action crime caper. I didn't want to get so big. But Fast 8, when I was watching Fate of the Furious, I was just like, that was just superhero shit. I saw Hobbs and Shaw without seeing Fast 8. And so I watched Hobbs and Shaw. I was like, man, this is kind of just like superhero weird, like garbage stuff. This is not taking place in the real world. This is so different, but at least it's Hobbs and Shaw. It's a side movie. I didn't realize that they basically had brought that into the main line, too.
Yeah, I mean, I felt that Fast 9 did go a little bit also back to the roots, and that, like, there's a lot of backstory about the Toretto family that I think is pretty good stuff. And I'm thinking in terms of like writing something like this. You got to admit that you would be pretty like tempted to go as big as possible with the way that people talk about these movies. So like, I don't hold it against them, the stuff that they did in this new Fast movie. Like, I don't hold it against them. I would have fucking done it too, probably. Just because people keep making these fucking jokes about this series. It's like, fuck it. Yeah, I can do that. You don't fucking think I can do that? I can do that.
I like that Hobbs has disappeared for the past hour. I like that. I like that The Rock has not been in the movie for like an hour. That was a good call.
I feel like there was a little bit of controversy about people not really digging him being in the movie. But maybe that was them not digging him being on the team in Fast 6 and 7.
You mean as far as the cast goes, or just the fans in general?
Yeah, the fans. I could have sworn I had heard somewhere.
Yeah, I think there is, I think people, we know that there's a real life food between The Rock and Vin, and there's all this talk about how they were like working the fight like wrestlers. Like, I can't let you get that move on me. If you get that move on me, I gotta like get my heat back. They were actually like doing that shit on the set of the film, which I think is fair. If you're an action star, you do have to think about this. But I think we talked about when we talked about Hobbs and Shaw that I think by current Fast, it's like no one was willing to make anybody look good. I think Fast 5, you got to see some actual winner in a fight, which is good.
Yes. Yeah, I think that. Oh, I love this part.
It's so
good. My God,
I feel like I'm about to rest. I like cool. In this one, he's from Texas.
Oh
Uh
shit.
oh. Here we go.
This is one of my favorite lines in any of the movies. Here we go, baby.
Yeah.
One of the great line readings in all of cinema.
Yes. Fucking
This is Brazil.
Fuck America.
Well, why would he even say it like
I know,
that?
right? But why wouldn't he? Of course he had to.
Yeah.
Of course he had to.
Oh, that look on his face too.
And it's such a different dynamic. It's like, yeah, the outlaw just straight up telling the cop to fuck off. I remember even when I was watching, it's like, man, you don't really see this dynamic in movies that much. Like, cop's always the good guy. Not in this one.
Also, that was a really great line that I didn't remember is when he says, "I'll be seeing you soon, Toretto," and he was like, "I'll be seeing you too, cop." Like, damn, that's badass, dude.
They do not like the pigs in this one. I don't know why but this movie has so much success. They like had to have The Rock in the next one and the next one, and they all had to all be friends by the end.
I still kind of don't see it as pro cop to me
Because he is a dirty
Because,
cop.
like-
He is like a dirty cop, right? Like straight up, like he's like a Vic Mackey. He literally is Vic Mackey, yeah, more or less.
Yeah, like he lets these guys get away with all kinds of shit and stuff. Like I don't see them as being like the police department is just doing the right thing. They're just people that are like, look, this guy could destroy the whole world. That's how they think now. Like this guy could fire all of the nuclear weapons in the world, and we don't want that to happen because we have this great family going on. And so we're going to stop him from doing that. I'm pretty okay with that. Crazy scene where he seduces the cop.
Right?
He's so sexy. I always tell my wife that Vin Diesel's sexy, and then she gets all like, "No, he's not, Bryan." And I'm like, "He's sexy to me." So, I mean, that's the kind of guy I would be into if I were either gay or a woman. So, that's a fucking crucifix, lady.
It's fucking worth it.
It's not really a spoiler to say this for the new movie, but like John Cena is Jacob Toretto, Dom's brother.
Ah.
And the way that they identify him is that he's wearing a necklace exactly like that. It's like, oh my God, that must be a relative. He wears the crucifix necklace. Yeah, I mean, he's not fully outlaw, you know, like now he's like, I also have to get Reyes because he's bullying the people in the favela, the poor people in the favela. Like I have to take their
Yeah,
side.
he has a code, and he's the actual good guy. He's actually going to save the day because the cops aren't really up to the task. I don't even know what that means in the context. Like, why
No,
was she?
no.
What she's just talking about? She talked about how her brother died and she was sad about it. But anybody would feel that way about their brother who got murdered. That's
Yeah.
such a silly line. But that's such a smooth. He would say some shit like that, like just to like gas her up, right? Like that was Cap.
Yeah.
I like that we come back to it. I like it. Just seeing them get better and better at it.
It's just hard to do. I mean, this movie is almost entirely kind of fucking with the cops, except for when they're fucking with Reyes, who, by the way, is in league with
Yes.
the cops. The hot rod Brazilian
I
police
know.
department
It's so
cars.
cool. They don't even notice their misses.
You know, you have never heard a police car sound like that anywhere, and we probably arguably spend more money on our police than Brazil.
They don't even give a fuck. They're about to drag race in police cars for $1 million. This is the coolest thing I've ever fucking seen in a movie. They just stopped the movie. Let's have a fucking drag race. This is so good. This is so good.
I gotta say this: Dom's style still being 2000, the year 2000 style, is also a good touch. I love that to turn the lights
Yeah.
on too. It's got to be Dom that
yeah,
wins.
of course. But Hang is the hope spot.
And I got to tell you, I do really, really like that they're doing kind of the Star Wars thing where they're flying when they're going to blow up the Death Star at the beginning of the movie, and they're all kind of talking like to each other while they're flying in. Like they're doing that during this race.
Even though there's no way they can hear each other. It's so fun. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's the first time Bryan beat Dom, I think. Yeah.
But it's totally okay for Bryan to win because he's an extremely talented fucking racer. And Dom let him win, I believe. Yeah, because he let him win because his wife's pregnant. Because Mia's pregnant.
Damn, he had to be an asshole and ruin it.
I mean, he's wearing an American Eagle T-shirt, man, in 2009
with the Japanese battle flag design, with the Imperial Japan Rising Sun design, like doubly offensive. In fact,
yeah, and just wearing like a mall shirt is incredible.
I actually think the villains are more fashionable, appear more fashionable than the heroes.
They are.
That used to didn't that used to be a
Yeah.
thing? Didn't the villains used to always be dressed better? That was one way you could tell who like the villain mooks were. They were in suits, and the good guy was in like jeans and a fucking ripped shirt.
I mean, a baby face should dress kind of like an
Yeah.
everyman kind of person, you know? It does sort of make sense.
He's totally is does come across as the guy who will like shoot a cop in the morning, but then like make sure everybody has to say grace before dinner. Make sure to go to church.
Keep resetting it that you're in Brazil because so hey, we're in Brazil, right?
Well, Vin did find it, personally fulfilling that he was able to take his franchise to Brazil. He's like he actually thought it was like a flex, like other people couldn't do this.
Oh, is
Yeah,
that
yeah,
true? Oh, that's
yeah.
awesome.
I guess Bad Boys 2 did have that ending sequence. But it's like the like it have like most of the movie is shot. It at least seems like it's shot in Brazil.
I was just about to ask you this, but I think I think I remember your take. You didn't like Bad Boys for Life,
No,
did
no, I
you?
really don't like it. I love the first Bad Boys. That's one of my favorite movies.
I
We
like them
might do
all.
it. Which one should we
I'm a
do if we do Bad Boys for the series? Would it be one or two?
I just watched all three of them in the past few years. I think two is
Okay.
better, but I don't think you can go wrong with one or two. I think those are perfect action
Yeah.
movies too. And that like they're funny. They made sure there's enough destruction and fighting and all of that stuff in it. But like at its core, it's just dudes saying funny stuff. And I think Martin Lawrence is a great underrated kind of guy.
Oh, I
believe,
I never thought of him
personally.
as underrated. He was, I guess, well, he was, like one of the top comedians and black people. He's number one. He's like one of the biggest guys. He's like Seinfeld. He's like the black Seinfeld. That's how big.
Well, I've said this before, but like I didn't see the first run of Seinfeld because Martin was on the
Yep.
same night. So like I didn't see an episode of Seinfeld until Martin was off the air. And I was like, well, I guess I got to watch this Seinfeld now. Fucking Martin Lawrence
He's
is
so
good.
funny.
You know what we should watch is fucking Blue Street.
Blue Street. That's a tight one. What's the one they have? Did he have one with Charlotte Sheen?
Oh no, but that movie is Chris Tucker
Chris
and Charlie
Tucker,
Sheen.
right.
Also a movie that I love so fucking much, man.
Money Talks. Yeah, that's the Chris Tucker.
Money Talks. And the one with Tim What's the one with Tim Robbins? And that might be Tim Robbins
And Martin.
and
Yeah,
Martin
Tim
Lawrence.
Robbins, Martin Lawrence. Nothing to lose. They don't make the racial buddy comedy, dramedy action movie anymore. They just don't.
Can't do
They
that anymore.
don't. I miss it. A black guy,
I
white
know.
guy, they hate each other, but they have to learn to deal with each other.
Bulletproof is another one in that world that I loved. Oh, I love this.
Oh, but you know what? I guess the Hitman's Bodyguard's wife is that movie now. I just dismissed it all out of hand. But yeah, I guess it's a black white combo.
Yeah, and the first one's not bad. I think that sometimes we get a little bit critical on some of those types of movies. And for me, I think I get super critical if they're not part of some kind of a franchise, I guess, which is the worst way to be. Because I don't want everything to be a part of a fucking franchise. I want just one-off movies to come out because they rarely do anymore. God, I would love to watch like Nothing to Lose or Money Talks or Bulletproof.
The Last
or,
Boy Scout.
I love that movie. I actually watched that with my daughter, and she
cool.
loved it.
That was a fave back in the day. That opening scene still like haunts me. The guy pulling out the gun on the football field. That's just the creepiest thing I can imagine. Like it.
I mean, a movie that a lot of people haven't seen that I would think you've probably seen that I really love that is like perfectly a dude's rock kind of movie is Diggstown. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it would blow your mind. I think you would love that movie.
All right, here we go.
Have you seen it?
Diggstown. I don't think I have.
Yeah. Oh my God. I'm telling you that like it's perfect for you. It's about a guy that has to fight 10 guys in a boxing match.
Oh, like a gauntlet match. Okay.
It is a gauntlet match, but it's about it's Louis Gossett Jr. plays like a washed up guy that is like hustling with James Woods and goes to this small town where everybody boxes.
Look at that German.
Yeah. Suplex.
I love seeing the suplex in the movie.
Also, The Rock spits out glass, which I missed such a cool move.
Cool. Oh, this is good. I really remember being very satisfied with this fight scene. The break through the wall, beautiful, beautiful back and forth. And you can they're trying to kill each other.
It's not and it's not like a plot. It's not like a small wall. It's like the walls they break through are actually, they give you the impression that they're very thick.
I love this fight scene. I think it's even shot. Oh, look at that. And then you have the fucking scene on the outside. That was beautiful. Oh.
I mean, it's so much better than anything they've done in Marvel, period, at all. And DC.
It's not even that long a fight, but it really is just perfect.
I mean, this one fight might even be better than anything they did in the Bourne movies.
Yes.
I could have killed you, man.
I wonder how Hobbs feels that none of his guys pulled the fucking trigger. I wonder how he must feel some kind of way. It's like, damn, I thought I hired the most murderous assholes that ICE had to offer. They were just gonna let me get murked.
I mean, that fight is good in the same way you would think of a 5-star wrestling match. Like, they did so much there. And there was so much story told just in that fight. Fucking Vincent.
Yeah.
It's so funny. These trucks are going through the neighborhood and they're catching air whenever they go over it.
Just extra. They're just being extra. They didn't have to make that in the movie. They were just like, fuck it, why don't they drive really fast over, catch some air, and have a little stunt there.
This is a nice little stunt for you.
There's another one. Oh, shit.
I love how they get out of this one because it's so genius.
Whoa. I love that the bad guys always blow up the least important SUV. It's so essential.
Well, you don't want to shoot at the armored one, right? The Fast movies always have cool armored trucks too.
And it's just like we get so many different types of good action. We got shooting. We had a great hand to hand fight. We get a shootout. We got races, of course. Car chases, of course. And then they got,
And like in the end, it almost turns into a disaster movie in a way with the amount of damage that gets done here.
it's so good that only because he made eyes at this cop, he was able to get out of this. And now this is like Three Kings. This is like this is like very much Iraq style filmmaking.
Yeah,
right. Like this is very reminiscent of the Iraq era war movies for obvious reasons. Like this may take place in Brazil, but this is Iraq. This is the Iraq war.
I mean, he just took The Rock just took a massive explosion too, which is they showed the impact of that explosion. You know, something I've
shit. That's fucking.
Oh, that's his guy.
Insane. That's fucking insane. Oh man, that was such a great death.
There's just so many.
Oh,
there's so much violence in these movies. But there's also violence with consequences in these movies, which I really like.
Something. Those deaths mean something. And I'm like, oh, fuck, The Rock is dead.
But, like, they hate Reyes' guys so much that they'll save his ass. Like Dom respects Hobbs because of they got in a fight with each other. Like they respect each other, which is such good storytelling.
He lets the cop live. But those other cops had to die in order for Hobbs to live. It wouldn't have been right otherwise.
It's just the kind of respect you have for somebody who you've been through shit with.
Oh God, this is such a tight action scene.
Yeah, this movie doesn't stop now.
Man.
We've hit the point. There's 35 minutes left, and it's not going to stop at all. That is just. I mean, that's what you want, and you don't want people shooting lasers and shit at each other. You want there to be like a tactile kind of violence.
You want this guy standing in the wreckage, pissed as hell.
If there were so many dead bodies there too, I really liked that.
Good. We know everybody who died. We got to see them in other scenes.
I mean, I don't know. What I'm saying.
You gotta see the baby. Speaking of side film.
Thank you, Vince.
Damn.
I mean, and Dom mourns his friends' deaths. His family's deaths.
I got eyes on Nico now. Is Nico going to show up in the next one? Want revenge?
I don't know if Nico ever shows up. I should.
Nico
check
just
that.
show up and be like, "You left my father to die while you saved a cop's life. You're no outlaw."
Oh, they never brought Nico back.
I'm sure he takes care of him off screen.
Yeah.
Oh, he's like, Reyes doesn't get away with. No
No.
way.
You don't know who the fuck you're talking to.
Running a freedom.
That's right. So we're going to get this money and then do some running.
What?
Dom fucking rocks because he can turn cops into like
yes.
outlaws. Like he's
yes,
so
that's
good.
How good he is. That's how righteous to do it. And see, he's a Vic Mackey. He's a Vic Mackey. He's not like trying to arrest this guy. He wants to murder him.
Yeah.
And we saw all that planning, and now they gotta flip the script entirely. Perfect.
To full on fucking violence.
But they do resolve everything in every plot with, Vin Diesel saying something like, if we can't drive over it, we'll drive through it. And
yeah.
and resolved.
I'm actually kind of shocked of the reviews for Fast 5 on the Rotten Tomatoes score.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Have you ever
I would assume they were pretty high. I remember this being one that people liked a lot.
28%.
I mean,
but the only good 67% of the. Oh wait, that's the wrong one. Sorry, that's Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
It keeps taking me to the Fast and Furious.
Oh, there's the Fast and Furious, Fast 5.
77% Fast 5.
Yeah.
83% audience score, which is stupid. You know what's another good movie we should do? Premium Rush. Have you ever seen that?
That's
Joseph Gordon-Levitt as a bike messenger.
No, I actually haven't seen that one. No.
Yeah, it's real good.
Oh, what the fuck are they doing? Oh. Again, they're fucking with the cops.
Yeah, and this is a really, really, really inventive.
Oh yeah,
like scene. They
had to think about
who
this.
Would have?
They had to think about this, the physics of it in some capacity. How would it work? How would it look cool? How to make it look cool? This is like a brilliant action scene. It's Justin Lin.
Yeah, Justin Lin's great. There's a really good action scene in Fast 9 where they have this like interesting kind of mechanic. There's magnets. They use magnets, like very powerful magnets, and it's very cool.
This shit is as impressive as anything as Nolan does, if not, and it's in a movie that makes sense, so it's better.
Yeah, a movie that I don't have to sit around and think I'm the dumb one. I mean, look how fucking cool this
brilliant.
Was.
There's so much going on. You got the cops, you got the bad guys, you got just the fact of them having to drive this duo car thing with this fucking vault behind them. This is so wild.
Do you think that this scene was planned before the movie was written? Because isn't that how Disney does it?
No, I can't imagine. Because Disney, they do previous stuff, but the problem with that is it's always so generic because it's not based in plot. This is like based entirely in the plot of the movie. Like the previous stuff is before you have a plot. You just have a fight in some open field. You have a fight at a big airport and you just show the guys moving around.
I mean, why would you fucking do that? Like, I guess if it's just like that's a real capitalism thing, right? It's
Yeah.
like we have a formula for how to make the maximum amount of money. We're gonna just do it that way from now on, and this is just a tool to make money.
I mean, at the end of the day, this is a tool to make money, but you let people have a little bit of fun with it, at least. Let Justin Lin invent some cool shit. Oh man, this is so destructive. This is so wow.
It is. It is. Justin Lin made Aquaman too, didn't he?
I love that one.
And I loved Aquaman too. Justin Lin, I hate to say it this way, but Justin Lin has a great eye for what like white trash guys from Groveport, Ohio like. He's got a real hard rock radio kind of vibe to him in his movies. Oh, that was fucking sweet.
And now you got the bike cops. And this is one of the few things I think in modern memory where the movies influence video games. Like people were watching this movie and it's like the people who made GTA 5 like watched this movie and it's like, oh shit, we need to do stuff like this movie. I feel like in the past few years is usually the opposite, like where film is stealing from video games, stealing these set pieces from video games. But this is one of the ones where I think like, no, actually Rockstar was like, yeah, we gotta get some of this Fast and Furious shit in the game. And in fact, Need for Speed made one that was kind of like heisty. They don't let you do anything near this cool, but it tried to have like a heist feel style to it.
I mean, this really, and this is what I like about the John Wick movies too. This really feels like a bunch of guys were having a lot of fun coming up with what this was going to be. That movie, Nobody, has a really good, makes me feel that way with Bob Odenkirk. It just seems like they had so much fun.
Yeah, I like when you see the artistry in the stunts, in the fights, like the real like care put it, like from the hand to hand. And there's so many styles, different types of stunts. This is like you said, this is now like a disaster film. We've gotten at least 5 different types of action in this movie. The fact that they were all able to pull it all off is amazing, but it all looks pretty good and it's pretty riveting. Like you said, this film has not stopped for like 30 minutes. And they didn't have to go this hard. They did not have to go this hard.
No. They could have got away with like 40% less, but they were just like, fuck it. This is the movie. And we're going to fucking make this movie really launch this franchise like into where we are now.
I actually feel like a lot of movies that last scene would have been like a straightaway. Like that would have been the scene when they get on the freeway and then that's it. But no, they're like, fuck it, we're just gonna keep going, see how much shit we can break with this.
Well, I mean, and when the cars wreck, it looks so good. That's something they've gotten away from.
Come on.
They've really gotten away from using real cars, which is a real bummer to me.
And like, even though like the container is fake, like for some reason it still seems like it has pretty good weight, which almost no CGI does. I don't know how they make it work, but it really does still hold up.
I mean, it does seem like because they had it crush. I mean, right at the beginning of the scene, that safe crushes a bunch of stone, like pylon separators from that they put in front of buildings. It just crushes them and turns them to dust. And like, I think stuff like that and it being dragged through the bottom floors of buildings and stuff, that's why we feel like it's heavy.
And like, just thinking of, all right, we gotta have 2 cars to pull this. I feel like so many other screenwriters be like, no, just have one carpool and just have that be that. Like, no, like have a little bit of physics there. Have it feel solid. Have it feel hard.
Well, the scene that they do with I love this. I love this.
I feel like most movies would just picked up here as far as the scene goes.
Yeah. Oh, yes, they can. I love this. Oh, my God. Oh, you don't think they do? I love this.
Oh.
I mean, what are you going to do when you get to the other side of the bridge?
Oh. Oh. Oh, and like when you're watching this, you don't know. You don't know if this is going to be a franchise. You don't know if it's about to die. You really don't know. I really didn't know what was going to happen.
I love this. I mean, this is so much fun. I think that's something that you just don't get. I mean, you get like at now, most movies is it's like
Oh.
there's a big action scene happening. All of the fun is quips. I don't
No.
need that. I just need
Yes.
fun.
Oh, just when he hits that nos, when he hits that nos, it's over.
God, I really do feel like the video game for this could be great.
They just made one, but it wasn't any good. I don't think.
Yeah,
It's too bad.
I know they also made a cartoon series,
Oh, I didn't
animated
know that.
series. But you didn't know Netflix has one.
This shit is tight. I didn't remember that he just fucking bashes the cop car with the safe. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think the villain in this is so good too. Like, you really don't see a lot of good
Oh yeah,
villains
he's a
anymore.
pretty tight villain. Oh,
There's no redeeming
that cop
value
is dead.
to him.
That cop was
None.
100,000% dead.
Yeah. There's no redeeming value to the villain in this movie.
And like,
I don't know his backstory, and he's been a prick every time I've seen him.
oh,
Bam!
Shit.
Killed with a fucking
Oh my
car. So smart. And you know,
God.
Dom did that.
Fucking hell. Fucking hell. That's a fucking action movie. That's a fucking action movie. Oh, it's not even over. It's not even done.
Yeah. I love this too.
He came back. We ride together. We died together. Who you think will win the fight? Dom and Bryan or the bad boys?
Yeah. Oh, Dom and Bryan. The bad boys don't have. I mean, Will Smith is nowhere near as strong
not
as
at all.
Toretto. Dominic, you know. That's also, you know. He just fucking
Just
killed that
straight up,
motherfucker.
didn't even look at him.
You want to come with? The Rock's gun in this movie is a highly underrated piece of the movie too. It is massive. I think he's using a 50 cal.
It's a tight gun. I like that he's still like a fucking prick ass cop and he's like, I need 24 hours to get out of town. Still outlaws.
Yeah. I mean, it's such a it's so good. Oh, I love this.
Of course.
This part I always felt was very unfair. Their plan was very unfair to me. Fucking begrudging respect between men. We need more of that.
The 50 dead police officers, not so concerned.
Not worried about them, really. Give Ludacris a little thing to do here since he couldn't be in the car chase.
He had to get his little spot in. Let me get my shit in the last scene. I like that he has all sorts of little tech. They don't take time to explain it. We just kind of visually know. They trust us.
Yeah, you don't need to know.
But you can tell somebody thought about it.
The thing that sucks about this series is it makes me have to like Gal
I know,
Gadot.
right?
Because like I like her just in this series. Like I'm like, she's great.
That's a satisfying amount of money. That's
money.
A very satisfying amount of money to pour out of that.
And now they're rich.
Finally, after 5 movies.
Yeah, they earn this. Yeah, I think I read one of the responses to the tweet where you asked people for questions that I really liked was that the music in these movies is really important to its success too. You know? It's also an international. It's a real international
Very
affair.
I mean, the new one made I think $400 million already. It's like been a weekend.
I think though the issue here is that I know that there's 2 more, and this is not a series I think you can reboot. I just. It seems impossible for me to even imagine who could play these characters.
I feel like you would just start over. You would just start over a new young team, which is kind of what Tokyo Drift was, you know. I feel.
Yeah, I mean, Dom. I just part of it is that like Vin Diesel's not a super handsome guy, a super conventionally attractive. Kind of guy, and like I think that's something that I really like about this series is that like the main guys aren't like the best at anything, you know. Like Bryan, Paul Walker is a very good looking person, but he's not like a great actor, you know.
Yeah, and Vin is just not someone he's great. He's not aging into like super handsomeness. I think maybe he'll go with get a beard. I think maybe next one we'll see him. He'll have a little beard on or something.
I mean, Vin Diesel he doesn't look the way that modern he doesn't have like a Tom Holland or a even The Rock look or like Chris Evans. He doesn't have that look where it's like I look at these guys that are the big stars in some of these big franchises and I'm like you're too good looking to like have anything bad happen in your life. All right, now
Aaron's
come
found
on.
love. Thank you so much for joining us on today's LAB BMB. We'll see you next time with another badass movie. Either Aliens or Predator. You tell us in the comments or on Twitter. Peace.